Hello and welcome to this recording of our VocTech Seed Grant Fund for 2022. I'm Jane Holmes, Head of Grant Programmes at Ufi VocTech Trust. Today I'm going to be talking about UFI a little bit. I'm going to be talking much more about this VocTech Seed Grant call. If you were here in person, you'd then go into a breakout session where you could talk to a member of the team and ask questions before we close. So if there's still a workshop you can book on, I would urge you to do that so you get that opportunity. So about UFI. UFI supports the development and deployment of digital tech, tools and approaches that help us all obtain the vocational skills we need to get more out of our working lives. As a charity, we have a particular focus on those learners who have been poorly served by traditional or mainstream provision. We use the term VocTech to describe what we support, the combination of vocational skills and technology. We champion the power of technology to improve skills for work. We act as a funding partner and essential friend to innovators in skills development. And we catalyse change in attitude, focus and investment in VocTech in the UK. There's much more on that in our strategy, Learning Without Walls, and our theory of change, both of which are on our website, ufi.co.uk, so do take a look. At UFI, we know that technology alone will not save us. The humans and machines really are in it together. We see VocTech as an enabler, supporting better outcomes for learners in many and various ways. For example, opening up access, supporting teachers and trainers, improving assessment, and enabling learning to happen in new and different ways which deliver for learners and for employers. We offer grants, we invest in mission-aligned companies through UFI Ventures, and we advocate to catalyse change in attitude, focus and investment in VocTech in the UK. So let's talk more about VocTech Seed. What is VocTech Seed? VocTech Seed is grant funding for innovative projects using digital tools and approaches to help adults gain skills for work. Specifically, it targets new ideas with the potential to transform how adult vocational learning happens. And by adults, we mean anyone over 16 who is available for work. VocTech Seed provides a test bed where new ideas can be scoped and tested in our supportive environment. And it's rooted in real-world understanding of the problems, issues and opportunities in the vocational sector. We don't fund tech for tech's sake. We fund tech that's solving a problem, specifically a vocational learning problem. What kinds of ideas are we looking for? We're really interested in big ideas that have the potential to transform vocational learning. We need to understand how you see your idea having a significant impact in the vocational learning market. With the relatively small number of projects we fund each year, each one needs to have big ideas and goals that can cascade across the sector. We're also interested in ideas that have the potential to reach a large number of learners or users in the longer term. Our funding acts as a catalyst for change, and we need to get the ideas to as many people as possible. If your community of learners or users is relatively small, you need to consider how to reach out and make this a universal offer that others could adapt and adopt. We're interested in products and services that can reach those not well served by mainstream provision. Perhaps those whose current training needs are overlooked in a current role, for example, or people who didn't thrive in a traditional classroom environment. And we're looking for ideas that show how UFI funding can help make a difference. We're not just another funder. We are about building capacity and long-term relationships. And we'd like to hear how you will contribute to the wider UFI family and what our support will help you achieve. So as well as saying what we're looking for, it's important to say what we don't grant fund. So as I've said, the skill being taught is not our focus. So we don't fund projects just because they're teaching digital skills. We fund tech for skills development, not tech skills. We don't fund training projects which are more of the same. So we do fund projects which are offering genuinely innovative approaches to training through new digital training tools and genuinely novel methods. We don't buy training places for individuals. We focus on the potential for long-term impact for many. And we don't fund standard content projects, for example, a project purely to address coding or entrepreneurship skills. If you are teaching a digital skill, it isn't enough to assume that this would be a project UFI would fund. We're interested in how the innovation in the approach using digital tools improves outcomes for learners. We also don't fund projects for schools. Sometimes there are spillover benefits for 14 to 16-year-olds, but this must not be the focus of the project. As I've said, we're about 16 plus adults who are available for work. And we don't fund routine business or product development where there is no public benefit case for charitable funding. And I'll come back to our charitable status later in the presentation. Everything we fund supports our mission to promote better use of technology for adult learners and the differing ways that digital tech can enhance existing provision. So it could be the development of innovative tech, or it could be the innovative use of existing tech. It could be utilising well-established technology in a new way or for a new user group. For example, taking tech that's currently only deployed in universities or schools and developing it for use in further education, the workplace, or for workplace skills. But it could be bringing new technology, including cutting-edge technologies, to the vocational sector. We can support ideas for new tech, new markets, new communities of learners, and we're happy to welcome new project teams. The emphasis here is on the new. VocTech Seed has been designed to support innovation, and we're okay with risk. This is about sharing that risk in order to encourage the development of new digital vocational learning tools, enabling organisations like yours to test new ideas and work out the next steps necessary to plan a route to market and long-term success. So what do we mean by digital learning technology? As I mentioned earlier, technology must solve a clearly identified problem in adult vocational learning. The very first question you'll see in the application form is what is the vocational learning problem you are addressing? So we don't fund tech for tech's sake. We fund projects across the spectrum of digital technology, which can include any of the things on this list: software, e-learning, adaptive learning, simulation, video, gamification, AR, VR, or any combination of the above. We're interested in mechanisms for mass reach rather than specific devices. Do have a look at our VocTech directory on our website. That lists every project we've funded in the past, and you can select by grant fund type, so you can have a look specifically at the seed projects we've funded in the past, and you can see the vast array of sectors and technologies that we've funded. So how much money is available? For the VocTech Grant Seed Fund is between £15,000 and £50,000 for projects between 3 and 12 months duration. The grant funding we offer for any individual project will depend on the problem being addressed and the nature and scale of the proposed solution. Each application is considered on its merits and the costs assessed against the proposed work plan and timetable. But it's not just about the money. We will work in partnership with you during your project, so you'll join a cohort of innovators from across the UK. You'll receive personalised support from UFI's experienced and knowledgeable team, which if you join one of our workshops, you'll get to meet. You'll gain access to experts, networking, collaboration and support as you develop links with our wider community. And over the lifetime of your project, we'll get you together with other grant-funded projects to share experiences, knowledge, and the hurdles you've overcome. And what could you use the funding for? The VocTech Seed Grant is designed to support the development of products and services that can help adults get the skills they need for work. So activities could include design, development and prototyping, refining learning design, testing with users. We're very keen that you work with users during your project. You could plan a route to market and strategies for scaling, project management. You can evidence impact and what works, all of this with user needs at its heart. So successful endpoints could be that your solution is tested with a small number of users, the potential impact is demonstrated, the route to market and scaling up is planned, and you have a business model or a plan for financial sustainability. And we said we're okay with risk, so we hope not, but you could conclude that the product isn't the right one for the market, that you've learnt lots, but you aren't going to move forward with the solution you've created. VocTech Seed 2022 is open to all organisations, including charities, trade bodies, existing learning providers and employers. Applications from outside the UK must demonstrate their impact inside the UK because we're a UK charity. Individuals can apply, but they'd need to become an incorporated body to receive a grant. And we think it's particularly suitable for digital innovators, early stage businesses, and organisations looking to test new digital approaches on a small scale. So what does a good application look like? We've put this list together from our experience of running the seed grant call for 5 years or more now. So a good application has evidence of a problem, evidence that you've done some research into the solution, and that you've talked with employers, learners, and a developer so you understand what's possible. Explain why your idea is new. Remember our focus on the new. And show that you've done some market research into what's already out there. For example, we often get applications for learning management systems, and at our last count, there were well over 50 learning management systems out there in the market. So remember our emphasis on new ideas, new tech, new communities, and new sectors. Describe the technology and the impact you expect it to have really clearly and simply. Show us that you've thought about what you want to do and how you could do it. Tell us about your ambition and your potential to scale, and consider the impact on your organisation as well. And explain why and how your learner group is not currently well served. And please keep your jargon free, keep your application jargon free and simple. Keep your jargon free as well. So if you've heard all of this and you've thought about grant funding and you think, actually, I'd rather look for investment at this stage, or I know someone or I'm working with people who are looking for investment, Ufi Ventures is the UK specialist investor in VocTech, and we invest between £75,000 and £1 million in early stage companies. So there are the logos there of some of the companies that we've already invested in, and you can go to our ventures page on our website to learn more about that. So what else do you need to know if you're interested in applying for VocTech Seed 2022? I said I'd come back to our charitable status. And as a charity itself, UFI must ensure that any grant given to any organisation that is not also a charity must demonstrate public benefit. This means being able to see evidence of how the proposed approach will benefit learners, how the community of learners has been defined, and the total size of the group the project could reach. Applicants must always explain clearly why they need UFI funding to support their project and how our charitable funding will make a difference. Finally, we need to make sure that our funding is not more than is necessary to deliver the project and is not replacing private funding. The questions we ask in our application form help us understand how your proposal can have a beneficial public outcome, both immediately and in the longer term. Now, here's the timetable. The deadline for submission of Stage 1 applications is 5 o'clock on the 13th of July. We do not accept late applications. Experience tells us that 99.9% of people will leave it to the very last minute. And if you experience technical problems, that gives us a real bottleneck to sort out. So please do try to do your application early. And if you experience technical problems while completing or submitting it, you must tell us as soon as possible on info@ufi.co.uk. Stage 1 applicants will be advised at the end of July whether they've been successful and will be invited to submit their Stage 2 application. So the end of July is when you'll hear about that. And the deadline for submission of Stage 2 applications is 5 o'clock on the 6th of September. That's much longer stage 2 than usual because it's over the summer holiday season. Our Board of Trustees will reach final decisions on funding by the middle of October 2022. And if you've listened to what I've said and you think, actually, I don't think we're quite ready for this yet, then we do also plan to run another VocTech Seed Grant call in January 2023. Our application process is entirely online. You can register at ufi.co.uk to access, complete, save and submit your application. As I've said, it's a 2-stage application process, and access to stage 2 is by invitation only following success at stage 1. And we say you can make more than one application, but we say one great application is better than 2 average ones. There's lots of help available for applicants on our website. Please do have a look at our eligibility checker. We've put a lot of thought into that, and if you answer no or maybe to some of the questions, it will give you more hints and tips about what you need to think about. The whole grant fund criteria is also on our website as our top tips on how to make a good application and frequently asked questions. We update our frequently asked questions after each of our workshops, so that if there are any questions we've not come across before, you'll see them come up refreshed on our FAQs. Please do also have a look at our standard terms and conditions for grant funding. Those are non-negotiable and are on our website for you to have a look through. You can also sign up for our newsletter, follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter, and while you're making your application, there's a help section on the My UFI part of our website too. Anything else, you can email info@ufi.co.uk, but do have a look at all of those helpful documents. If you were in a workshop now, it will be time to move into a breakout room where you'd spend 15 to 20 minutes chatting with a member of our team, with other people, to ask and then have answered any specific questions you had. So if there's time, we've planned 6 of these across the time when stage 1 is open, so do have a look on our website and book onto one of those if you still have time. And then we would come back to the main room for any further questions. And so in summary, there are grants between £15,000 to £50,000 available for projects lasting 3 to 12 months to test early stage ideas for how digital tech can help people obtain skills for work or improve their skills in work. Please read the guidance, have a look at the eligibility checker, the top tips and our T&Cs, and apply through ufi.co.uk/myufi. Closing date for applications is 5 o'clock, no later, the 13th of July. My top tip is be clear. Perhaps get someone who's unfamiliar with what you do to read your draft application. It's so hard for our independent panel of assessors to assess your application properly if they can't understand what it is that you plan to do. If you have any questions, please drop them into info@ufi.co.uk, and I wish you all the very best of luck with your application. Thank you.